Alongside, we have also notified Swachh Bharat Kosh, to which contributions could come in and they would qualify as CSR. But making a toilet is not enough. As was mentioned, you make a toilet, you don't use it. There are reports to me that many of the toilets in rural areas are being used as stores. The sanitation is a much larger issue than merely constructing a toilet. It is a question of mindset. People have to be told that this is so critical even from the health point of view. If you don't do this, there are serious consequences on the health. It has such a deleterious impact on health and related issues. We have to mount a very strong IEC campaign. It has to be a social movement. In my ministry, we have these self-help groups of women. Today, I am having 25 lakh such self-help groups across the country. And I have told them, take sanitation as one of the priority items. Take it as a campaign. Embed this into your activities. Make it a movement. Mindset is very, very important. Attitude is very important. Once you get used to use the toilet, then you will not even think of eating yourself outside. Then related to this is the liquid and solid waste management. Here again, corporates can come in a big way. As our Honorable Prime Minister says, this cannot be merely seen as a sanitation issue. It has to be seen as an economic activity, as income generating activity. He is absolutely so right. There could be models that could be evolved and developed. So this is one area where CSR funds could supplement the effort and the resources of the central government as well as the state governments. Now, second I would prioritize is, as was earlier referred to by Dr. Yogendra Narayan, skill. Skilling, it is an area which has been neglected. I have no doubt in my mind to say so. What a paradox. We talk in terms of demographic dividend. We have educated youth. The rate of unemployment is so high. And on the other side, industry keeps complaining that they don't have the right kind of skilled workforce with them. There is such a tremendous mismatch between the skills that are available and the requirements and the needs that are there from the industry. I'll give you just some numbers, very, very revealing. Only 10% of India's workforce is trained, just 10%. And out of this 10%, only 2% is formally trained and 8% is informally trained. And this is in contrast to China's 50% and European Union's 75%. Where are we? Not only that, our training capacity is so grossly inadequate. All our technical institutes put together, sir, they can train just about 3 million people every year. Whereas over 12 million people are joining the workforce every year. Such a disconnect. We have not paid attention to this all these years. As per one estimate, India needs to train 500 million people by 2022. 500 million people, sir, 50 crore. And 60% of this 50 crore would be residing in rural area. 30 crore. We need to enhance our capacity for training or retraining to at least 40 to 50 million per year over the next 7 to 8 years. This is the challenge. This is also a big opportunity. There is another estimate that by 2020, Western countries including the US, UK, Russia, China, Japan, not China, Germany, France. So by 2020, they will have a shortage of 47 million people as workforce. Whereas by this year, India will have a surplus of 47 million. Therefore, dear friends, the point I am making is the India can potentially provide skilled manpower to the world apart from meeting its domestic requirements. I used to be in health ministry from 2010 to 2012. I was handling this pharmaceutical sector. India is a global pharmacy. We supply quality generic medicines or drugs to over 300 countries. Can't we become global capital of skilled manpower? We can. We can certainly become. So this is the second area which I thought we should pick up for CSR funds. But unfortunately today, we have no suitable mechanisms to channelize CSR fund into this area. I have a scheme where I fund 75% and state governments fund 25%. The private sector players who come in to set up training centers and provide training to the rural youth, the rural poor youth, in various trades, in sync with what is required by the industry. But my numbers are so insignificant. I have a target of 12th plan, just about 10 lakh candidates. Until now, I have been able to do just about 4 lakh. Imagine the numbers that I got at the other side and the numbers that I am doing. We could come together. Corporates could come in. I could go for much larger numbers through CSR route. I can evolve suitable mechanisms. I am willing to sit along and evolve models. We could have MOUs. There is a huge possibility, ladies and gentlemen, to leverage CSR funds into skilling, which is so important for this country, not only in itself, but it is also most critical to ensuring the success and sustainability of Make in India, another priority of the Honorable Prime Minister. Now, third area is housing. Now, housing for all by 2022 is one of the priorities of the government. Huge funds are required. In rural areas alone, my estimation is that we would be requiring 4 crore houses by 2022. I have a scheme already in place that is just not adequate. The other day, I brought in NG Narega to supplement what we are giving to poor people for making a house. What I said, now all these houses are to be made by beneficiaries. That is our Indra Awas Yojana. I said, let's monetize the unskilled labor component of that beneficiary as part of the funds that are being made available for housing. So 12,000 rupees today I am giving to each of these beneficiaries over and above what the scale of assistance under the scheme is, that is 70,000 rupees under the MG Narega. That's how MG Narega funds are being leveraged to create durable assets. And I am also compensating that beneficiary as a kind of opportunity cost, because when he makes or she makes the house, he or she is losing wages. So the point I am making is that we have to find ways and means of supplementing resources to make this housing to all by 2022 a reality. Here again, we can work out suitable mechanisms. Perhaps there is a need to create a kind of housing endowment fund to which contributions from the corporates can qualify as CSR. The last point I would like to make is, while rural poverty levels have come down over the years, I am not getting into the numbers, so that is a controversial part, whether it is 29% or 27% or whatever, whether it is 27 rupees per day or 32 rupees per day. I am just not getting into that. But the fact remains, 67 years since independence, there is a large number of people who are at the bottom of the pyramid. And forget about the percentage. Given the size of population of this country, if you look at it in absolute terms, these numbers are rather frightening. And sir, I believe that we may not be able to rely on the patience of the underprivileged and the poor and left behind people for a long time. Their patience is thinning out. Because of ICT and social media, aspirations of people in rural areas are no longer rural. They are getting more articulate, rather urban if I may say so.